Happy Friday, traders. It's 8:01 a.m. Chicago time on Friday, the 29th of April, 2022. It's 8:01 a.m. Chicago time. This is episode number 2223. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. How has your week been this week? How did you do? It's been a relatively whippy week with a strong rally yesterday. Definitely not the easiest, but plenty of volatility, plenty of opportunity, in my opinion. Looking at today, however, we have a market that is mixed again. We basically came off as a result of the Amazon release, which was really terrible. Amazon is currently down 10%. I think it was down as far as 15% overnight. Not sure. Not 100% on that, but it lost a few $100s on the announcement. I think the SOC for earnings for Amazon's around $2,895, $2,895, and it pushed to a low of 2,521. Can you imagine that? It's basically a $400 drop there. However, the stock is priced very heavily, trading in the $3,000 range. So very interesting, but we did come off. Apple came in pretty strong as well to counter that. So a bit of a whipsaw session after the close. But overall, to me, it looks like we have not really recovered back to where we were. If you look at the S&P, it's down 40.5 points or 93 basis points. NASDAQ, of course, is taking a bigger hit, down 122 basis points. Again, the Euro Stocks 50 and the DAX are stronger. The dollar is coming off. The dollar is above $100. So the dollar index, it's very, very, very strong. The yen is really weak. The European euro has been weak and is bouncing a little bit now. But overall, there's quite a bit of movement. Crude oil taking a bid yesterday and kind of climbing a little bit to 106 from about 102. It's still strong today. Pre-market today, we had ExxonMobil, Chevron, AbbVie, Bristol-Myers Squibb, Honeywell, and others. After the market today, we have nothing major. However, pay attention. It is the last trading day of April 2022. We say goodbye to this month. So I want to caution you on equity month-end flows that could really move things around. There's a rumor that there's like $9 billion to be allocated by Goldman Sachs alone. So there's quite a bit. Yes, the rotations, the ES rotations had to be updated. I posted them in the CT Head Trader channel. If you're a member there, I posted the fact that the rotations that expanded, I was using a stop that was getting triggered very often. And it's a very clear indication that that my stops were too tight. My stops are based on rotations, so I had to update, and I could see that that the rotations expanded a fair bit after Monday. So good catch there. As far as where the market is, again, market posture is mixed. This morning we had some numbers, a bunch of numbers. GDP growth out of Germany, Q on Q, came in stronger at 0.2% versus 0.1%. Not super, but the prior was negative 0.3%. Growth rate year on year is 3.7% versus 3.1% expected. GDP growth out of Europe year on year came in at 5% versus 4.8% expected. Inflation rate, this is an important one. The inflation rate out of the Eurozone came in at 7.5% versus 7.4%. Core inflation at 3.5% versus 3%, so higher. That should have the ECB spinning. This morning we got personal income, personal spending, personal income beat 0.5% versus 0.4%, and personal spending month on month for March 1.1%. Personal spending 1.1% versus 0.5%. Very strong number there. PCE price index, which is the number that was watched closely, came in at 6.6%. The prior 6.3%. The expectation was 6.8%. So it came in weaker than expectation. PCE price index month on month, however, was stronger, inflationary, 0.9% versus 0.5%. This morning at 9:45, really 9:42 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, the Chicago PMI number for April comes out. We're expecting 61. It comes out at 9:42 to private subscribers, and it comes out at 9:45 to the public. So pay attention around 9:40 or so. Be aware that there's a number that might come out that you're not aware of. Michigan sentiment final, not really a mover, expecting 65 today. And then this evening, we get the MBS manufacturing PMI out of China, which is a major number, and a Caixin manufacturing PMI number, which is also a major number out of China. So this is what's on deck. I know I just rattled off a lot of stuff, but I want to make sure that we catch up and we follow our routine. Looking at the ES, note the rotations were updated. This was 7.25 or so. Now it's 8. Looking at the ES this morning, 256,000 contracts traded so far, heavier than the common the motive volume. That's why it's blue. Inventory's 100% short. Now we popped lower on Amazon, which is a heavyweight, 1.4 trillion market cap, something like that. We popped lower, then we pushed higher on Apple, but the push on Apple just got us back to the settlement price of $42.8350 or so, and then since then it has traded below. So we closed at 4 Central, 5 Eastern. We opened at 5 Central, 6 Eastern in a gap, and we were responsive from the gap. We pushed back towards yesterday's point of control, which was 42.75 in the S&P, but really we couldn't push any further. Therefore, 100% of the overnight inventory is short, below the prior settlement, and the point of control in the overnight session is 42.44. So we are easing off the gas here. We're having a pullback in the S&P. Real quick review. Yesterday, for those of you who watched the pre-market video, I talked about the fact that the market was challenging. You look at this, it was challenging. This is where we were trading, 42.29, and it was challenging the one-time framing down that was happening. We had an overlap in value, and this is a market that is printing lower lows in price action. This is why I'm not a price action only trader. Printing lower lows in price action, but value is being accepted. And you can see that we've built a nice fat belly here, good fuel to push us higher. And this is what I talked about yesterday. Again, I encourage you to watch yesterday's video again. You can find it on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/FuturesTrader71 and look at the video section, and they're all there, man. Thousands of videos, and you can set. They're sorted by, I think by default, they're sorted by newest first. So, yesterday coming in here, the expectation is it might dip below this value high figure, but I'm expecting it to push higher and come back and challenge towards that 42.92.75 area or whatever, this spike high. That's what I was looking for. This is the arrow here. And then if I push the video a little bit further, we talk about it a little bit more. that if we don't challenge and bounce, which is what was expected here, we challenge and bounce, push up. If we don't, then we're looking to move back to 4180, 4183 or so, and we're not, basically this is an indication that we're not ready to rally. So that's where we are. So here's what actually happened yesterday. Where should I pull it up? Here's how it played out. This is the TPO chart on Edge Pro X. How it played out was we opened right where we were. We pushed all the way down. You recall a minute ago I talked about that if it falls in, it is likely to challenge value low from the prior session because, well, let me ask you, because it's been quiz week all week, why do we expect it to challenge value low? What tells us that? Actually, that's not a question. I won't waste time on that. But we opened, we got back into value, we consolidated, and we pushed down. And yesterday was hard. It was a tough trade. I was not reading it properly. If you recall, I said that I was exhausted. I was really tired. But essentially, we expect it to traverse once it accepts the prior value and it's in balance. We expect it to traverse the entire value range. But we're modest people, right? So we look for it to challenge the point of control. And if the point of control doesn't hold, we'll look for value low. And that's basically what it did. It's not a precision business, but that's basically what it did. It pushed down into the prior session's value low, and then it started to build balance here. The trade, despite the fact that I was down pretty good yesterday, those of you at Convergent Trading had to hear about it. But because risk was under control and because I cut size as I experienced a drawdown, I was able to catch this the 41.99 quarter long all the way to 42.20 to 42.20, and that pretty much put me back in the game. One winning trade making up for about four or five losing trades. Really strong trend up. Thought I was a superhero. It did pause at 42.20. It looked like it was failing at 42.20, which was expected. That was the key point of control in the area. And then guess what? It pushed another 70, pushed another 80 points above that. So you can't win them all. 1 second. Can't win them all. Yeah, it's three losses in a direction. 3 strike. That's a 3 strike rule. So if I'm looking for the market to bounce and I take a long and I take a stop, then I take another long and I take a stop, I can only take the long one more time. But yesterday I was losing on both sides. I was losing going short. I was losing going long. And in that case, my daily loss limit takes over, right? That's the backstop. I have to keep trading. I have to keep sampling the market. I can't just stop. So that's what it looked like. Looking at let's go back here to our normal review segment. Let's pull this up. I am just not sleeping these days. My 4-month-old is struggling and is sick, and there's just no sleep. Okay, so let's remove the fractals. So here it is. We open, we test above, we fall back in. I expected a bounce right here. We did get the bounce back to the RTH VWAP, which has been in play all week. RTH VWAP has been really the key number to play with. Pulls back to RTH VWAP, and then it looks to me like it is done here. pushes back, RTH VWAP, RTH VWAP, take a stop loss, and so on and so forth, challenges the IB low and pushes all the way down to 41.91, and then gets into the IB low and gives us a low of day at 41.8250. That value low area that I talked about was around 41.83. And then it turned around and then it created this higher low and a clear breach here. And that's back in this space right here is where the long set up, and very quickly it got back up to 42.20 and it pushed right through, became neutral, and it turned into a neutral extreme up day, a reversal day with a point of control in the upper distribution with a very thin structure in the middle, which I don't like. We took some of that back on the Amazon news, but in general, this is not a very good foundation for a continuation here. So we finished at 42.83. And then from there, we got the Amazon news. There's the Amazon news right there. And then from there, we got the Apple news. And it just, it closed. It ended up closing near lows. Look at where it closed. See how the structure is very weak? Not, you know, this is not great right here. This area is likely to be challenged at some point in the future. That area is going to represent poor structure. So everything from the 42.50 down to the 42.20 or so, 42.15, that area is very thin. If we start to fall, we're likely to fall very quickly, and we did some of that in the overnight session. We open in a gap, so we gap down, and then we come back up, and we form a double distribution profile in the overnight session. But overall, look at where we are. We are trading below mid, below VWAP. We are trading around the point of control in the middle of the low volume zone. Okay? In the middle of the low volume zone. This is an interesting spot to open at today. To me, this you could see that it did poke the point of control from the prior session. It tested it overnight right here and it failed. It has already accomplished that, but of course the real tests occur in RTH in the day session. Overnight session, I don't put too much stock in that, but it's still important. But we challenged the point of control, yesterday's point of control. That's basically where our overnight high is, and we have come down. We've created a double distribution. So right in here, this Amazon low, Apple low, this area right here is very important right now. 42.60-ish, 42. So the 55, oh, I can't write. Cannot write. 55 to 60. This is your immediate over-under. And we are under. So my view on this is we are likely to take back this thin area and head right back into the 15 to 17. And we're likely to do so early on. We are basically refuting this entire rally here and rechecking the structure. If it does not find a base from which to turn here down in this area, if it does not find a base from which to turn, then it really is troublesome, and we are likely to continue to push lower down into 41.80 and so on. And essentially it is canceling out what we did yesterday. Yesterday, we took out the 4,300. We challenged the 4,300 to 0,350 and came off. Today looks weakish. Today looks choppy-ish. So hands off the mouse for at least the first half hour today. That's my plan. We had, let me fix this. We have a flat delta. We have a market that has been beneath VWAP, beneath the full session mid. We have just moved away from the overnight point of control. We're in the lower distribution. We have resistance at 55.60. To me, it is likely to float lower. Like, what is the path of least resistance? It's likely to be lower from here. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. I'm not going to scribble stuff on the screen, but remember, we're opening inside of yesterday's range. We're opening in a thin area within yesterday's range, and it's likely to be just a chop fest. And that, combined with the end of month trading for April, this could be a challenging session. So I'm not going to do what I did yesterday and get myself into trouble early and have to kind of sit through picking off trades and finally catching a good one. It's a good day to kind of look at your arsenal of setups and tell yourself, what would I trade in a mean reversion environment, in a balanced environment? I'm expecting it to balance today. It is stuck between a rock and a hard place. So if you look back to Edge Pro X, we're currently right here. We are right here, 42.43. We have a distribution up top. We have a massive distribution down below. We have yesterday's distribution down below. We have balance down here, as is the testimony of this big area. So this is why I'm saying it's likely to go and challenge a 15. So today, what's to be expected? We're in the middle of this thin area. It is likely to take out the overnight low at 42.30, which it just put in. It's likely to take that out into 15, come back up, and it's likely to just ping pong into the close. Watch out for the closing range today between 3:30 and 4 o'clock today. It might whip around a little bit as money is deployed into May and to, sell in May, go away type of thing or whatever. I don't know what they're going to do this year. But some movement is likely to take place here into the close. But otherwise, I'm expecting it to be a relatively challenging session. Okay, that's your fair warning. Good luck. And I'll catch you on Monday. Take care. Actually, I might not be here on Monday. I think I'll be here on the Monday morning, but won't be here for the rest of the day. I'll catch you on Monday morning. Take care.